Okay, we got Elite Cameraman. Let's
After a whole
go.
week of waiting, episode 67, part 1 was
Of
released, and it
course.
really had a cliffhanger and a half. This episode really served as a great build-up to the next, and as you guys know, this episode is not actually finished, and it's...
Of course, it's not finished, and this is pretty important. Titan's back
It's already
to
almost
us.
2 minutes long. If you remember episode 57, it was 2 parts, and episode 67, which is exactly 10 episodes after episode 57, might also be 2 or maybe more parts. If the series actually
I think there is a chance that we can get high chance that we can get more parts than 2.
continue, we might get to see episode 77, also be multiple parts. If Dafuk wants to continue on the tradition, this episode might not seem big when you just watch it, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a great episode and a build-up to what's to come. We saw the Titan duo come back, and as I guessed on my video about the leaks, Titan TV Man was nowhere to be seen, and it seems like the huge battle is beginning in the next part or episode because the description of this episode is, "It's time." Yesterday, after the episode 67 leak was discovered on the merch store, people thought episode 67 would come out later today. But hours ago, Dafuk Boom sent this image to his Discord's Skibidi Spoilers section and said, 40 minutes.
Wow,
if we go back,
that
he
was
also said
nice.
40 minutes for episode 66 as well when it was about to come out. So I'm guessing that from now on, we'll be getting a 40-minute to 1-hour heads up before episodes are released. Because before this, instead of Dafuk himself, the old owners of the Discord used to reveal that it was coming out about 1 hour before it was released. The last 2 episodes both came out at similar times, and I'm not going to lie, after I saw the leak, I thought it would come out later today as well. So I went to sleep, and that's why I'm posting this analysis a little late than usual. I guess it's time to adjust my sleep schedule. And before we get into the actual analysis, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe because we just reached 800,000 subscribers and we are on our way to 1 million subscribers. I also know that it's very possible to reach this goal because if we look at the statistics, literally 77% of you are not subscribed to the
Oh my god, you need to change this, guys.
channel, so you guys better subscribe. On a serious note, thanks to everyone who has been supporting the channel. Hopefully you guys are actually enjoying the analysis. Anyways, here we go. To me, today's episode revealed a lot of stuff about what's going on and what might happen, but it left more questions instead of answering my questions because we didn't get to see what happened between episodes 65 and 67. There were actually some differences in Scientist Toilet. And if he is the real Scientist Toilet, it looks like he has been through a fight. And with this, we also saw Secret Agent twice while watching the scene again. And I'm
Oh, that was a secret agent too. Oh my god.
we'll get to understand everything that happened in between because episode 66 and episode 67 part 1 probably had a decent time skip between them. One question that was answered was the tablet that the cameraman had in episode 66, which showed the Titans being dead, and thankfully it turned out to be fake.
I told you guys, I told you that was a
Anyways,
fake.
this episode starts with us on a vehicle going through the base that was destroyed in the last episode, and it looks like we are watching from a large cameraman POV instead of a normal cameraman POV. This gets more clear later in the video, but either way we would be looking at this devastating scene because my guess is that the toilets caused a havoc after the special agents left the scene on episode 66, and the squad POV cameraman is going with might actually be the rescue squad. We start the scene by seeing the whole place in flames. And if you look carefully, there are both dead cameraman, speakerman, and toilets, which means that a fight 100% happened here, and the whole place is burning in flames. And while this is happening, we see something strange. If you look behind, you can clearly see a green glow flash for a second with someone next to it. We all know at this point that this is the secret agent. It didn't seem like he actually interfered today, but this doesn't mean that he won't, because every episode he has been interfering more and more. Also, don't forget that this was just part 1 of this episode, which means that he probably is still there and might interfere and appear in the next part as well. This episode is just part 1, and it was almost 2 minutes long, which means the full episode 67 is probably going to be the longest episode ever in the series, surpassing 3 minutes.
I agree with that.
After the scene with Secret Agent, the POV cameraman looks to his right, and we see 2 cameramen trying to run away, and this was the main thing that confused me about this episode. While everyone else is dead, how are they alive? How did they actually survive this place? Unless they are troops that came after like the POV cameraman, I feel like it's very unlikely to survive an event like this because seconds later we'll see the true nature of what happened here. But before that,
Okay, so maybe this is a fake cameraman.
we see 2 new machine gun toilets attacking us, which we kill by launching 2 rockets at them. If you pause the scene right here, you can clearly see 1 speaker man and 1 large cameraman who has been killed on the right side, but if you look carefully, they literally have been stabbed with huge metals sticking them to the ground.
This is a police toilet
What a
ammunition.
cruel way to kill someone. This also means that it wasn't simply just a normal toilet who killed these Alliance troops, because a normal toilet could not have done this, and we actually know who did it. If we roll back to the beginning of episode 65, you'll see the upgraded police toilet and how he kills people.
Yeah.
These dead troops on the ground actually foreshadow what's to come, because seconds later, we get the return of the upgraded police toilet from episode 65. He appears out of nowhere and starts shooting the vehicle, and if you pause at the right second, you can see that he actually hits the driver cameraman twice.
Yeah.
After the car stops, the police toilet also shoots the large cameraman next to us, right when he is about to shoot. But it seems like that was his last bullet, because if we pause the scene when he sees that the POV cameraman also has rockets, we can see his shocked face being goofy. Kids, don't go into a fight ever, but if you do, make sure to analyze your opponents first. Otherwise, you'll end up like the upgrade police toilet. Right after this, we see the POV cameraman shoot his rockets at him, causing the police toilet to almost crash. But it seems like his defenses are very strong because he was able to actually escape and survive 2 rockets. Normally, toilets on his scale die pretty quickly, but it seems like their armors have improved quite a lot after the return of the scientist toilet. After the police toilet leaves, we get a decent look at the place we are at. But if you were subscribed and watched my last video, you already knew about this place because I covered it when the episode 67 leaks got out, and it actually gave us a better look compared to what we see in the video, because it was shown outside of the cameraman POV, even from the first
This looks amazing. This is definitely the secret base of the
glance. You can see
Skibidi
the
Toilet.
statues that we saw in episode 66, and that this mountain most likely has a secret base inside, and it's probably very huge. There are many speculations going around about what's inside, and my theory is that it's probably the laboratory for the toilets.
Yeah.
And G-Man Toilet might actually be inside here waiting for Scientist Toilet to get him outside with his upgrades, but I'll get to why I think it's a big lab inside later in the video. After Police Toilet leaves the area, the large cameraman also get out of the car because the driver is dead. But something really weird happens right here because the POV cameraman suddenly looks to his right, and we see the secret agent standing on the smoke, but it really seemed like the POV cameraman either felt something watching him in this scene.
Yeah.
We don't know what the secret agent is planning, but we know that he has been teleporting left and right the last 2 episodes, and it seems
And he is closer to the
like this will
camera.
continue. In
Man.
episode 66, he literally orchestrated a whole scene by showing a photoshopped image to the cameraman, resulting in them becoming berserk and actually being able to escape with the TV man thanks to the support of the special agents, and especially thanks to my beloved TV woman. Not gonna lie, after episode 66, I thought we'd get to see TV woman again, which I was really hyped for, but I guess I'm not getting the treatment I wanted on my episode 65 analysis anytime soon. Also, before we continue, I realized something about the second scene with the secret agent. I really don't know if it's anything important the second he shows up. If you look in the opposite direction, at the secret bunker's door, you can see the password or the entrance mechanism actually flash for a second, which looks like it actually has been tampered with.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Oh my goodness.
Maybe the secret agent actually tempered with this device to allow the Alliance to easily enter, because both these happen at the same time, and unless it's a rendering mistake, it actually would make sense. And it's such a small detail that if it's actually real, I would be really surprised that I know.
I think the secret agent is not good at all, you know?
Noticed it. Also, if it's true, we now know that the secret agent is clearly planning something about, and I think we'll get to see it more on the next part. Seconds later, we see the police toilet trying to sneak up to the large cameraman, but he gets shot with rockets. And if you freeze the frame right before, you can see that the rockets that were shot at him before broke his armor and removed one of his weapons.
That was the old
but these
one.
don't matter because he literally gets obliterated after getting shot. As I said before, don't be like this police toilet. After the police toilet gets killed, we get a zoom in on the large cameraman who shot him, and we can see that he still has the metal spear on his chest. And even though everything, this Sigma cameraman gives us a thumbs up. Actual Giga-Chad behavior, like the video to show your respects to this Chad, like being, I wish you could have survived what's about to come. But before we continue, we also get to see the bunker a lot more clearly thanks to this zoom in. And the weird thing on the left is 100% some type of mechanism that opens and closes the bunker door,
Is
and it
this
probably has some security
a
measures
face
that the
here?
secret agent
No.
might have disabled. It also says lockdown on the bunker door, but that might just be something that came with the asset. But there is something else that piqued my interest, and it's the logo on top of it. If you look really carefully, you can see a DNA logo on top of the lockdown text. And remember what I said about this place being a toilet laboratory.
Yeah,
To
definitely
me,
a
this was the first
laboratory.
giveaway, and it might actually be true because we get to see some insane stuff literally a second later in the video. Suddenly we see the black teleportation smoke, and a mechanic hand with toxic capabilities come out of it and shoot acid onto the Chad cameraman, literally metaling him. And once it hits the rocket launcher, he explodes. Thanks for your service, large cameraman. We'll never forget you.
Yeah.
I know that plot armor doesn't work on regular troops, but I wish he survived. Anyways, right after the POV cameraman shoots his rockets inside the black smoke, but it doesn't look like it worked at all because this crazy toilet comes out of the black smoke as if nothing happened.
Old friend.
This new upgraded toilet looks like Mafia Toilet from episode 28 because of the hat, but we don't know if they
26
are the
probably.
same. But one thing is for sure, this toilet has been upgraded to the brim and he has no chill. He has the Strider legs, he has his jetpacks, and he has the classic buzzsaw that most toilets have. But the main thing is, he has a hand cannon which shoots acid. And if you guys are actively watching the series, you would know that acid is getting more and more popular among toilets. And
Yeah.
it seems like the Alliance will need to take more defensive measures against it because for now, only the Titan cameraman could defend himself against his with his shield, but now he won't be able to as well, because if you rewatch episode 64, you'll see that his plasma shield was definitely attached to his right arm, which doesn't exist anymore. And right when the Mafia toilet was about to shoot the acid onto the POV cameraman, something literally throws a toilet at him, leaving him shocked, and we see that it's the Titan duo arriving at the scene, showing
Yeah.
us that they aren't dead, and the Imagine on episode 66 was totally fake. We first see the Titan speakerman on top of a plane toilet trying to kill him, and Titan cameraman walking very heavily without his right arm in place, and he seems very angry because even though he is at a disadvantage because of his arm, when the quadruple buzzsaw toilet arrives at the scene, he literally takes one of the buzzsaws and simply sticks it to his arm and starts using it as his new arm. Bro literally stole an arm from a toilet. You know it's about to go down when Titan cameraman is this mad, and this is just the beginning. After getting his new hand, he simply demolishes the quadruple saw toilet, but right after the Mafia toilet sneak attacks him from the behind. Even though he was already damaged and we could see electricity coming out from his shoulders and core before, he takes on this damage pretty well and literally slaps the shit out of the Mafia toilet with the slap sound effect, which reminded me of what happened in episode 28. And we also see Titan Speakerman slap the Mafia
Yeah.
with full might seconds later, which was so goofy. But before that, right after Titan Cameraman slaps the Mafia toilet, Titan Speakerman shoots the acid hand of the Mafia toilet, causing it to explode the acid on his own face. And we can clearly see that his skin is burned down. But that's not the
Yeah.
important thing, because
It's
you do
pretty
know
sad.
that acid literally melts the Alliance troops. But if you look carefully, nothing really happened to Mafia Toilet's tools, and they are all fine even though the acid touched them. This means that the toilets have a material that is protective against the acid. And I think after the Alliance invades the Skibidi Toilet's bunker, they'll probably steal the recipe for this material as well.
Yeah,
And
I
you
agree
already
with
know
that.
that the Mafia toilet gets slapped by Titan Speakerman right after this scene. Titan Speakerman doesn't even look back after slapping him and just carries on. But the way the Titan duo looks at each other, it's giving me some sus vibes thanks to the troll leaks. God damn the way they look at each other. I wish TV Woman looked at me like that. Right after this scene, we see a huge
Come
black
on.
smoke, and you could have guessed who was about to come even before seeing the reveal. The POV cameraman gets back a little with his jetpack, and we see the arrival of the scientist toilet. But there is something clearly different about him, because
Yeah.
if you look at his right eye, it's now red, and there is a black scratch on it which makes him look demonic. We still don't know when the red eyes come and go for other toilets and what they exactly mean, but one thing we know is, whenever there is a toilet with red eyes, they usually act a little more crazy, and Scientist Toilet's laugh in this episode was a lot more terrifying compared to his normal laugh. Right after the camera pans to the right, and I didn't realize this before, but if you look carefully at Titan Speakerman, he has stuff that stabbed him on his chest,
Yeah.
arm, and leg. It's a lot more clear in the scene before where the Titans look at each other. But it's crazy that Titan Speakerman can still fight without getting any treatments. This also means that, after what happened in episode 65, they didn't stop by to get any help or treatment, and simply just rushed to the fight because they know that the Alliance needed them. Their sacrifices will never be forgotten, and I feel like one of the Titans might actually die in the next part because the Scientist Toilet doesn't look like he'll have any mercy. And at the end of the episode, we see the Titan Cameraman saying, "You are dead," to Scientist Toilet and start spinning his buzzsaw. This episode was actually crazy, and
One
hopefully
of the
the next
best,
part is
yeah.
even more crazier. I really can't wait for the return of Titan TV Man.
I hope so. The Titan TV Man help the others. Wow, that was really great analysis.